Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the Waterman and D-Train Show. Today's half-ass review is all about the Chemical Brothers Clay Mitt. Something's been going on with my cars, and I think it's where I'm at now, 10 hours a day where this thing's parked. But it gets real gritty, almost like it's been sandblasted. Feels like overspray. And then the windows start to feel that way. And then, also the headlights. I really think it is. Where my office is located, we have a powder coating company to the west of us. And usually the wind does blow from west to east. And we also have a steel fabrication shop behind us. And to the east of us, we have the Raider Stadium being built. But needless to say, this has been going on for a while. My car sits out in the sun all day long. It bakes in the 120-degree weather that we occasionally get. It's usually between 110 and 115 in the summer. So I was thinking that maybe dust and shit was getting on there, some sand, and the heat was just so warm on the paint that maybe it softened up the clear coat on top. But as it's on the windows. I mean, I kind of felt it before, was trying to figure it out, just never put it together. Just didn't put enough thought into it until I was out there today. But I tell you what, this Chemical Guys mitt, instead of using a clay bar, you use this mitt. And it's got a very sticky coating on one side. It reminds me of the sticky holster, but a little tackier. It almost feels like mastic when mastic dries. But you use this, and you use this lube, which you would do with a clay bar anyway. A lot of times people use water that's distilled, or they use a detail spray. I went ahead and bought their lube, their clay lube, and this. I tell you what, a couple of swipes, and whatever was on the surface of that paint was gone. It was nice and smooth, like brand new. It did leave a little kind of, looked like little burrs, little berms, just areas, little patterns where you can see it's not so shiny. But I would hit it with detail spray after that, and then I did some Carnauba wax, and all my fears were gone. So the car's looking good. I suggest if you have a detail shop near you that carries Chemical Guys products, to try this out. The mitt's about $50, but what's interesting is they say you could get 35 to 40 uses. We will see. At $50, even at that, that's cheap. I mean, you could buy their clay bars, and they have different hardnesses depending on the soil level of your car or truck. They're $15 a piece, plus the $10 for the lube. But it's out the door, it's a little more than Meguiar's, but I think it does a very good job, and it's a smaller company that we could support and get behind. So my half-ass review is if you find some Chemical Guys products and you need to clay your car, get that clay mitt. Make sure you get the clay lube, and you will be set. That's my half-ass review on this product. Thank you. Today's half-ass review is all about the Chemical.
Digitized live from Mac Computer Studio in Cape Coral, Florida. It's the Waterman and D-Train Show, and I am the very tired, very exhausted, short-tempered, short-fused, highly annoyed, a little bit sunburnt D-Train. And here he is, the man who always has drama in his life, the man who always has problems, the man who's constantly fighting off the world at every turn.
Yeah.
Dave the Waterman. And of course, coming in live, I think, from Las Vegas. He had to run home from work simply because of the 3-hour time difference. My brother, Gordon. Gordon, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You're coming in and out, though, on my end.
Well, that's because I muted everything when I was playing your half-ass review.
Yeah, you sound pretty strong on our end, man.
Okay, now you're sounding good. It just, as you were doing the
I don't know, man.
Intro right now is just getting weird.
So what's going on, everybody? Woo!
Man.
Happy late St. Patrick's Day to everybody.
Yeah. Huh?
We're celebrating a little late because
right.
I didn't drink at all yesterday except for some champagne, but we'll get to that here in a little bit.
I hadn't drank in days, man. It's been like almost 9 days, man. I decided to today, though. I needed it today, man. I had to have a cold one. You know?
Yeah.
You ever get those days? Sorry about that. You ever get those days, man, where you just, Gordon, you got to feel it too, man. Some days, man, you just feel like you got to have a cold beer, man.
Yeah, every once in a while, but I'm just not a big drinker anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the,
Hangovers just hurt so much more now.
Well, I'm not saying drink to the point, of catching a hangover, man, but like 1 or 2 beers, no big deal.
I can't solo drink. I've never been big into drinking by myself
Really?
at home. I'll buy a 24-pack of bottles simply because the fine people at Miller Lite do not stock 12-pack bottles at the gas station by my house.
True.
And so because I prefer my beer out of bottles opposed to cans, I'll buy a 24-pack and it'll last me fucking 3 weeks unless I'm doing a bunch of yard work.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'll buy a 12-pack or something, and it'll hang out there forever. I'll grab a beer every once in a while, but I really just don't go out to buy beer anymore. It's weird.
Oh, well.
So I almost had to cancel the show again tonight.
Really?
Yeah, I knew the power supply in my computer, the fan was starting to lose its bearings, literally.
Yeah, it's
And
been making noise. I
It would
noticed
make
that.
noise, and I'd have to literally
Yep.
hit my computer until it found its balance to shut the damn fans up so that the microphones wouldn't pick them up. And up until today, I had an onboard video card, which meant that all my RAM, half of it was being allocated to video, which I don't need because I don't do any video editing here. And I need as much resources as possible to provide the best clarity and best performance for our show.
Quality video, yeah, man.
And so I made the mistake of rushing home tonight and to take apart the computer we used to record all this stuff, put a new power supply in it. Well, a new used power supply I pulled out from Mac Computer Shop and a video card. And so I installed everything and booted it up, loaded the drivers for the video card. But for some reason, I had to reboot it and it said new CPU was installed, which was not the case. I didn't put a new processor in. I'm like, okay, load defaults. And for like 30 minutes, the fucking thing will not boot to my hard drive.
What was it trying to do?
It just didn't see the correct hard drive that has Windows on it because this computer, due to the amount of storage I have, it has 3 hard drives in it, so it wasn't seeing the proper hard drive. Finally, I unhooked all of them, plugged in the one that has Windows installed on it, finally got the fucking thing to boot up. That's when you knocking on the window. That's why I was telling you to hold on.
Yeah, I didn't even hear you.
But, kind of like the episode of Friends where when I think Jennifer Aniston was dating a gynecologist, and they were asking her how great the sex was, and she put it in terms Phoebe could understand, who was a waitress, and she asked Phoebe, well, what's the last thing you want to do when you get home? And Phoebe replied, serve coffee.
Right.
She said, exactly. And so much like the gynecologist who went interested in sex when they get home from work, the last thing I like to do when I get home is touch a goddamn computer.
You've been working on them all
Everything
damn
I
day,
do,
bro.
Once I clock out, everything I do online is via my phone, which is why there is a lot of misspellings or weird things, because 1, voice to text sucks, especially with this horrible accent I have. 2, I have large hands. I'm not a 13-year-old girl, and these keyboards are always small, so I'm constantly hitting the wrong buttons. Then you're sabotaged by autocomplete. And so people are constantly like, man, your spelling sucks. Well, yes, I know my spelling sucks. I have a learning disability, but that's besides the point. Compound that with all the bullshit available through cell phones and autocomplete and everything I just listed. And so I was about ready to say, to hell with it.
You're burned out, man.
And
You're burnt.
Yeah, I didn't get home until 1:30 this morning.
That's what I heard.
I was out in the sun, out in Bokeelia.
You've been very busy
on a
these
movie
past-
set for 13 hours. Well, no, I was on the movie set for 9 hours yesterday, and then I went to the wrap party. We had dinner, and then we just checked. So I'm not. Dave saw it. I recorded a 156 minute podcast with the cast and crew of the movie, and I'll get into that a little bit because that's going to take a good bit of my time.
Yeah, that was.
And so I want to get into Dave's debacle and just whatever he has before I get into talking about being on this movie set and all that fun stuff.
Well,
so take it away because I'm tired, man.
No problem, dude.
Run the show.
No problem, bro. You know what, man? I gotta say this for real. It's a sad day for me, man. Right now. What? Don't even shoot me. Did I say something? Come on.
Said it twice.
What did I say? Ow! What did I?
I gotta say that's.
Oh, come on! In the neck, at least. Right here, man. Ow! Right in the. Okay, good. Thank you.
We won the girl on.
Point. Oh.
Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Dude, I already got a black eye, bro. All right, and I'm not
you weren't going to talk about that.
No, we're not. I know. I already got a black eye.
He was told once, ladies and gentlemen.
I already got a black eye, and I'm not talking about that, man. We got to leave that one. That's got to stay away. Boys, you guys all skated, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Sad news, boys. Sad news.
Well, I know nothing happened to Mike McGill or Steve
Nope.
Caballero because I
Nope.
follow both of them on Instagram, and they're live, healthy, and kicking.
Yep.
Same with Christian Hosoi. He's rocking along.
Yeah. Well, Thrasher Magazine's editor, Jake Phelps, has died.
Yeah, I did see that.
At 56, boys. What a shame, man. That guy, what a legend, man.
Well, 56 is young, but 56
It is.
for someone who basically grew up
But-
and was a key role in skateboarding through 70s and 80s and all the hard drugs and lifestyle that came
Yeah,
along
man.
with it.
Well,
I'm not exactly surprised, not to talk bad about a guy that I didn't know, but
I'm bummed, man. I thought it was when I found out, I said no. I thought it was another one of these internet.
what did he die of? Well,
They don't know yet.
an internet thing.
You know what I'm saying? Where they say they
Yeah,
talk
but
about.
who's going to spoof a fake death from a magazine editor that very few people, at least in modern internet
Well,
age, know?
Well, a lot of I don't know, man. I in my opinion, because I follow Thrasher and stuff like that, Thrasher, Skate Magazine. I said, oh my God, man, no way. I was bummed because one of their main video guys, P-Stone, died a few years ago, man. And P-Stone was another one of these dudes, man, that was just a legend in the business. And it's like all these guys are starting to go.
We're getting old, man.
They're starting to go in the business, and
Somebody wrote an article on the death of Luke Perry and talking about how that's kind of an eye-opener for our generation now that we're all in our 40s and some
Right.
of you all, you're getting closer to 50 than I am.
appreciate it, man.
But how our generation, those who grew up in the 80s and 90s, how, that was kind of one of, with the exception of those who overdosed, that's
Yeah.
one of our real first actors per se to die of quote-unquote natural, whether, yes,
Yeah.
in his case it was a freak health issue, but
Yeah.
it was in fact a health issue. And it just kind of a
Well-
wake-up call for our generation.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. Go on ahead, Gordon. Sorry.
Yeah, and yet Dwayne Peters, he's still
Oh.
trucking in at 57.
Yeah, Dwayne Peters, man. You want to talk about a hardcore drug addict, heroin head from hell, man. I think he's got those punk
For those
bands.
not in the know, who's Dwayne Peters and why are you all surprised he's still
Okay,
alive?
Dwayne Peters is a 1970s, early 80s pro skater that competed with wouldn't you say, Gordon? He went up against
Alba, Pal Peralta,
Yeah, Alva and the guys, man.
Dogtown.
And his nickname is the Master of Disaster.
Yep, the Master of Disaster. I was waiting on that. Yeah, so I mean, he was an influential artist, an influential skater in the whole Thrasher magazine, skate magazine, because you had Transworld Skate Magazine and you had Thrasher Skate Magazine, and those two magazines kind of battled it out,
Yeah, they were really the only competition as far as that
They
media
tried.
source.
Yeah, well, they tried in the '60s with Skateboarder, but that didn't, that stopped. That was only a few
that
years.
carried on. No, I remember skateboarder, or
Did it
was it
go?
skateboarding? That continued on to the 90s, didn't it, Gordon?
Yeah, that's
Because I can remember the
Well,
font.
Transworld.
Yeah,
Oh,
skateboard.
Transworld skateboarding. Okay.
Yeah, you had skateboarder, but then you had Transworld skateboarding. But Transworld and Thrasher, man, those guys, battled it out, man. And Jake Phelps being up in the Mission District of San Francisco, I mean, that whole scene up there with skaters, man, is still to this day raw dog, man. In my opinion, I mean, that's where the best of the best go, and it's just a sad day in my world, man. I just feel bad because who knows where the scene's going. And
Well, the scene's live and well.
it is, but it's
And as far
so
as Thrasher
commercial,
Magazine
man.
goes, well, I was going to say, as far as Thrasher Magazine goes, they have nothing to worry about. Last week alone, I seen 3 kids who probably doesn't even know what grip tape feels like under their shoes,
Yeah.
flossing Thrasher Magazine T-shirts. So
Really?
absolutely.
Not cool,
You see
man.
it all the time. I mean, you see young
That's
guys
true.
and girls both. Maybe they might have stepped on a longboard once or twice,
Right.
but they're definitely not the street skaters that we were. Because back in our day, the only people who flossed a Thrasher Magazine shirts were the cats who skated.
Yeah, man, that's true. It's like watching a Kardashian wear a Slayer T-shirt. Never heard a Slayer song in their life. They
want to be cool, man.
Yeah, they're trying to be cool, man, trying to be hip. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty bummed because he was 56 years old, and I was like, wow, Jake Phelps died, man. I was like, holy shit,
So the day a Kardashian rocks a Slayer shirt, is that the day you just have to hang up your Slayer mantle?
No, because that's happened like
No.
a year ago, and he's still flossing his stuff.
No. That's because
And I don't know why I pulled flossing out of my vocabulary tonight. It's
Sweet,
like the
I like
sixth
it.
time I've used it. It's like, hey, 1998 called. They want
Right
their
on.
vocabulary word back.
love it, man. No, seriously. Let me tell you something, Gordon. The thing is as soon as the Kardashians got caught, which was literally what it was, they got caught wearing a Slayer shirt. Gary Holt, okay, Jeff Hanneman was the other lead guitarist besides Kerry King and Slayer, okay? When Jeff Hanneman passed away and said, you know, he tapped somebody, and Gary Holt was with a band called Exodus. And he decided to go on ahead and, you know, Jeff Hanneman said, hey, look, if anybody replaces me, I want Gary Holt to replace me. And, you know, Slayer's been continuing on. They're doing their last world tour right now with Gary Holt. Well, Gary Holt's got these shirts out now, and he wears them on stage that says, kill the Kardashians. And he actually is, like, marketed this stuff, and he's selling them like hotcakes, bro.
Nice.
Selling them like hotcakes, man. Kill the Kardashians, bro. He wears them all over the world, man. You know? But it's still not affecting their billion-dollar business by any means. Those girls, man. Good God. They haven't done nothing. Rich, loaded, billionaires, you know? Sick. So sick. But I'm just bummed about, you know, Jake Phelps, man. To be honest with you. That's what the whole thing is, man. It's just a shame, man, because there's a whole, you know, the whole scene about it. The skate scene, I mean, you know, the music. I'm just wondering who's going to come in and take control of the magazine, the editorial duties, and, you know, if they're going to change it up, you know?
I'm sure he's had somebody under his wing for a while.
Under his tutelage. I hope so, man. I hope so. I really do. I really do. Because it's such a iconic part of my life, man. I mean, I can't not forget in 1983, I mean, watching the first Bones Brigade film. I was like, whoa, you know. As soon as it came out in '83, man, I was blown away. Like this is something I've never seen before, man. You know?
Was that first Bones Brigade video the roadmap to your success today?
Very funny.
Let's
Gordon.
get into you. I'm breaking your balls a little bit. That's all.
It's
I'm only
good to-
kidding
I mean,
with you.
you know,
Very
we're all
funny,
influenced,
man.
right? We're all influenced.
Hey, man, he's 43 and
Snowboard
successful.
bum.
44,
You know?
bro.
Nah, his life was spelled out for him by the search for Animal Chin.
Damn right, man.
I think we're going too deep down the 1980s and 90s skateboard world. I think
well, that's
we're gonna
just
be,
me, man.
I think people are going to just start
yeah,
shutting
they'll
off our
probably shut
podcast.
off. All right, so what's happening? What's up with you boys, man? What's happening?
Well, I got something for you.
Okay.
Beautiful, thank you.
Completely out of there.
Yeah, good.
Have you ever been woken up by the sound of your own fart?
No, I can't say that. Stench, maybe.
I've been woken up by my own snoring, but I don't know about my fart.
So
I've been woken up by horrible, you know, reekage.
yeah, well, so a couple of days ago that happened to me, and it was a dear Lord moment. And
Now, was this like a nap on the couch, or was
Oh,
this
no,
like
this
3
was
hours
mid-
into your
of night.
nightly slumber?
Yeah.
middle of the night, sawing logs, and evidently I hit a pocket.
Now, was
Right.
it the audible that woke you up, or was it a little damp?
Oh no, it was the audible.
Oh.
But here's the funny thing: is while I laid
Oh, you
waste to my wife,
splattered. Yeah, go ahead.
I wear a CPAP machine, and
Oh,
now I
what?
found the bonus.
You can't smell your own waste with a CPAP machine.
No way.
You're almost like a
So
fireman
glad
sleeping
she
with a
got out
gas
of
mask.
bed.
You literally have a gas mask.
Yeah, man. You're set.
No, she got
the
out of
poor
bed. It was
wife.
that bad.
And the best part about that now is Vegas has a White Castles, man. So now you can just enjoy White Castle to your heart's content and
Just
not
a
worry
night.
about having
Yeah.
to rot in your own sewage.
Yeah, throw the machine on at
Even
night.
if you're not asleep, you just throw the motherfucker on while you're sitting in your recliner watching hockey and just
Yeah,
bury it into the fucking cushions, man.
yeah, man. Throw the
it's
CPAP machine
funny.
on, dude. You don't got nothing to worry about.
She got out of bed, and I just rolled right back over. and went to sleep.
Oh, you're bad, bro.
She go sleep on the couch,
I don't know. I don't know how long she was gone.
or did she go down and call the?
She went down and
She
made
went and
coffee.
called the insurance person to see if she can get a sleep study so she can get a mask.
Oh man,
I'm just glad that thing didn't get ripped off my face.
you're
Now
lucky,
Dave's
bro.
woken himself up from urinating in the bed from being too drunk, but he's never woken himself up from a fart.
No, man. Hell, I've literally stood up and pissed on PlayStations, bro, and caught them on fire, man.
John Kraft says via the Facebook live stream, no, he's never had that, but he's definitely seen his dog do it on more than one occasion.
Unreal, bro.
Now I have been blown out of my bed by my beagle. I got like a super fat old beagle, and that son of a bitch, man, he just
Dude,
blows it into
dude.
the wind.
Bro, isn't
And for some reason, when he lays in between us in bed, it's
Yeah.
it's his ass is towards our, his face is down towards our feet, and so his ass is up in the wind, ready to go, man.
Got the fan
So,
going and stuff.
if this conversation was happening via Facebook or
Which
something
it
as a
is.
chat,
Oh yeah, it is. Don't worry.
how long until Godwin's law is applied? And do you know what Godwin's law is? Dear
No,
God.
but I think this more falls under your asswin's law.
Yeah, man.
Well, Godwin's law is basically taking anything that's on the internet. At some point, it will be analogized with Hitler.
What?
Yeah, anything that gets on there, it will. There's actual law about it, or a rule that the more these memes go out, more discussions go out, somebody will throw Hitler into the mix. And if you
Well,
think about
how
Usually,
does that
usually in a
happen?
political aspect when they're trying to make someone else look bad. But I don't know about blowing yourself out of your own mattress in the middle of the night by your ass yodeling.
Yeah, dude.
First, but, you know,
Your ass yodeling. I love it. That's a good one, man. Man, you're bad, bro. You better get your wife. You better get her a sleep study done, Gordon.
yeah, that are just.
You know
fix
what
my
I'm saying? Dude, I seen a thing on today, man. Like the last remaining guy in the iron lung.
Mm-hmm.
That's gnarly. The iron lung, man.
He finally passed away? Or did he
No,
finally
he's
move
still
on to a
alive.
more
No.
modern day technology?
No. Dude, he's stuck in it. He's about dead now, man.
God, that's a long. I mean, because
The
iron
iron
lungs
lung.
were, that was something they did back in the 50s and early
Yeah.
60s. So, I mean, he's got to be.
Polio.
That's a long haul being
Yep.
stationary.
I think he
bleeding
said.
edge technology back then.
Yeah,
That's
he contracted polio in I think he said 53.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how during that summer, man, the families, everybody was freaked. And even the school year, people were not letting their kids go to school because they're scared that they're going to contract polio, da-da-da-da-da. But he got it so bad, he ended up in an iron lung, man. But the guy he's the last remaining guy in an iron lung.
Yeah, what's he complaining about? This is Johnny Millennial over here. Yeah, he may have had that iron lung thing, but he doesn't know the strife of being allergic to peanuts.
What the?
I'm allergic to peanuts. I can't have peanut butter. I can't have peanuts. No one around me can even blow a peanut in my... Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man.
Blame your parents. Your parents
That
are
sucks for
bathing
him.
you from head to toe with antibacterial soap from the day your mom squeezed you out, and that's why you have no immune system.
He can't go
Well,
to
and add on that they're probably not breastfeeding, so it's artificial, so you can't get the the stuff through the milk that helps fight the the allergies.
Yeah, he won't be able to go to a bar
Not
where
to
there's
mention
nuts
that-
everywhere on the floor and everything.
Not to mention that they never made mud pies or ate dirt.
Dude, I bathed in freaking
still do.
canals. Come on, bro. No, I don't, man. I mean, maybe occasionally. I mean, I might find myself, hanging out. If I'm camping, bro, of course. Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Wow, you're all over the map with that answer.
Well, because, dude,
He's struggling.
I gotta. Yeah, I'm in
This is the guy who wanted to get a...
I'm in a bad shape right now, bro.
This is the guy who decided a good way to shower after work instead of getting a $10 a month gym membership. Because after all, dude, I don't want to get yoked.
Yeah.
He thought it was more conducive to his livelihood to get a portable camp shower.
Yeah,
Strip
man.
down to his skivvies in a field behind the radio station.
Yeah, dude, in the
and-
woods, man.
And take a hot shower instead of simply paying $10 a month and not only taking a shower, but maybe working out.
Yeah. Hey, bro, it was only it was cheap, man. It was free, actually. So, all I gotta do is fill it full of water and let it solar heat up,
But the
man.
setup and tear down alone is more than $10 of your own time.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
It's not like you can leave the thing set up; it'll grow mold and everything else. Someone
Oh,
will
yeah.
steal it.
Yeah, no doubt, man, with the bums around.
And then, of course, at some point, somebody will be having some weird, elusive sexual activity hookup point around it, because that's what happens anytime there's anything weird out in the woods.
Yeah.
Some married guy who's struggling with his sexuality and is too afraid to tell his wife he's gay is out there finding some random strange dude
that
out there.
sounds gnarly.
Well, that's what it is. Anytime you hear these stories about these cats getting arrested, they're not openly gay dudes. Openly gay dudes just go to the bar like the rest of us.
hell?
It's these cats who are married or they're super religious,
Right.
and they
Okay.
can't come out for whatever reason and be
Yeah.
honest with society and themselves, and so they go down to these rest areas and these parks and they do
You're
this
right.
horrible crap instead
They
of
do
just
weird stuff,
being
man.
honest with themselves, come out and just go to the bar like everybody else
Yeah,
and
man.
pick up some strange.
Weirdos, dude. Weirdos. Yeah, now I'm worried about my damn portable shower out
Paul
in the
asked
woods.
if Dave showers? Question mark.
Who?
Paul.
Hell yeah, Paul, I shower, bro. Look at me right now, man. I'm clean, bro.
I
Damn.
can't tell you though.
You know what? Oh, shut up. You know, I'm tired of this.
Not on his own show, damn it.
showering and all this stuff. I don't.
He's an asshole, sir.
Gordon, I don't care. But dude, come on, man. Jeez, boys, I do shower, man. Dude, I live a normal life to an extent.
For those of you, let's do a little tech talk via our friends at Computers. Computers sponsors the Waterman and D Train show. They've been servicing Southwest Florida and all their IT needs since 2004. They specialize in veterinarian clinics and small businesses, data recovery. They actually got a hard drive today from someone who lost all their data and now working on data recovery. Laptop repair, desktop repair, server rollouts, the whole 9 yards. So this tech tip is brought to you by our friends at Computers. Have you been pondering that new the new iPhone 10? Is that what it is? I'm an Android guy.
The
is
Galaxy S10, man.
Good thing you bring that up. Is the new? So the battle's always been between Galaxy and iPhone. Now, full disclosures, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have a dog in this fight because I have the new LG Galaxy 7 Thin Q.
That is a beautiful phone, man.
So I have no dog in this fight, but here's some interesting specs because I was at a cell phone store twice on Friday, Saturday.
Oh, man, that's a pain in the ass.
And I was with someone who's been wanting to transfer to the dark side for a while.
I'm an Android guy.
And pick the phone to your heart's delight.
Oh,
but may I make one suggestion? How about you go in there and ask someone who sells cell phones, sells cell phones by the seashore with the seashells on a daily basis, and ask them one question only. Well, two questions. What are the specs and what are the price points?
Right.
Now, I've always contended that Apple is more of a popularity thing. It's more of a lifestyle thing. But once again, I have no dog in this fight because I'm an LG user.
Yeah.
So we went in to get the specs on the latest devices. iPhone 10, the latest, greatest, maybe the 10X, whatever. I don't even know. I don't keep track.
I don't even want to know the PR on that.
Price point, $1,200 if you're buying out of pocket. What does $1,200 get you? 4 gigs of RAM, a single quad-core processor, and 16 fantastic hours of battery life, primarily when talking and using your apps.
Bro, okay.
So what is that piece of shit Galaxy S10? What is that dog going to get you?
All right, let's hear.
Price point, $900.
Nice.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this as someone who's been running an IT firm since 2004, someone who used to sell big screen TVs, who worked at CompUSA, Sun TV in Columbus, Ohio, the now defunct Sun TV, who opened up in H.H. Gregg. There is no margin in cell phones. There's no margin in computers. There's no margin in video game consoles. Now, for those of you who never worked sales, margin is basically you buy something at wholesale, you crank it up a few percents, and that's your margin. Usually on items, there's a 20 to 30% margin. Now, when you go out to anywhere and you buy that Xbox, the store literally makes $8 off of it.
Right, yeah.
That's why the controllers are $45 because they buy those motherfuckers for $10. That's why USB cables are $12, $15, $18 because they literally buy them for 50 cents.
Yep.
All the margins in the accessories. So with that being said, when you hear these price points of the $1,200 versus the $900, that is not the store's markup. Once again, the store probably makes $8 to $10.
Right.
But once again, that's why that out-of-box case cost you $40. That's why the screen protector cost you $15 or $20, where you can get that crap on eBay for $3. All the margins in that stuff. It's in the accessories.
So what's the megapixel?
So here we go.
Okay, let's see.
Now, I didn't ask the megapixels on the
I wasn't
cameras.
for sure if you knew the.
Once again, on the iPhone, the RAM is 4 gigs.
Okay, 4 gigs.
The processor is a single quad-core processor. I don't remember the speed on it. The Galaxy S10, 8 gigs of RAM.
Nice.
So for $200
Double.
less, you're getting twice the RAM.
Yep.
Dual quad-core processors.
Instead of single.
Instead of a single quad-core, so you're getting 2 quad-core processors opposed to one. So you're getting twice the processing speed.
Yep.
Battery life, 70-ish hours.
Instead of 16.
Instead of 16.
Wow.
Now, obviously, Samsung got their start in the TV world.
Yeah.
So the screen is going to be far superior, and I think Apple probably gets their screen off of Samsung or someone similar. And so, apples to apples, if you're going strictly based off of speed and resources, for $200 less, you're getting a larger phone,
Yep.
twice the RAM,
Double the processor.
double the processor speed, which is the most important part, and battery life. Now, both of them do have the
Yeah.
wireless charging as well as does my phone. But
Getting like 4 times, 5 times the battery life.
now Gordon's been quiet because he has a dog in this fight. Gordon, what phone do you have?
I have the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus,
But you're
but it's cracked.
But you're going shopping, aren't you?
Yeah, what do you
Actually,
what
so
yeah.
I went from one carrier back to another.
Uh-huh.
And the interesting part is I did not have to buy a phone. So I'm saving money out of the gate.
Now, when
to
you
the
said
t-
it's cracked, is that your screen's cracked or you actually cracked the operating system on it?
You know, I've had a smartphone probably for about 10 years, and this is the very first one I dropped on the floor. Got just a little nick in the lower right-hand corner and just a little bit of spidering. Not too bad.
I've never cracked a screen.
What?
Never. Not once.
Get out of here, dude. I've broken like 17 phones, bro.
Well, that's because you're drunk and you drop them on the
No,
concrete.
it's not because I'm drunk, man.
And in my experience, I think the majority of the people who crack their screens, particularly the ladies, it's because their pants pockets aren't deep, and so they're forced to sit them in their back pocket, and then they forget about them. They sit on them, and so the phone flexes and cracks.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't
I've
know.
actually sat on mine a few times, and I'm surprised I
I've
haven't
never cracked
it.
a screen.
I've just dropped them, bro. Mine
I
are
did
always just
kill
falling.
one. I remember the old katanas.
Yeah.
I killed one of those via shock. It was in my front pocket. Now, I always make a habit of whenever I put my phone in my front pocket, I always face the screen towards my leg.
Right.
So it doesn't
That's
get cracked.
smart.
But I was at a antique store, this is back in the day we were doing work for, and they had a long wheelchair ramp with handrails.
Yeah. Okay.
And as I came around the corner, I walked in the handrail. It hit the back of my phone and just killed it from shock. It never turned on ever again.
Wow.
So
okay.
I've killed one from shock. Usually I get a phone. I'm not a big new phone guy.
I'm not
but
either, man.
Mysteriously, last week I got
But you
an
got
operating system update.
Oh.
And
the
the
phone?
phone slowed
Yeah,
down.
Oh, no.
Ah, okay.
And the main reason,
Yeah.
I got a new phone for two main reasons.
Software
One,
update.
for work. I use a program called T-Sheets. It's tied in with QuickBooks.
Right.
And
Look
as
at
you can
that
see,
thing.
all these colors, you can't see it on there, all these colors are the different jobs in my calendar.
Wow.
And obviously, the more jobs I have, the longer it takes to load. And so it would literally take me sometimes 3 minutes just to click on the job, get it to load,
Okay.
and hit clock in,
Right.
let alone clock out, and then schedule. And so I needed something that could actually pull my calendar up quicker. And with all the social media stuff we do for the podcasting and all that, I had the crappy mid-range LG. Mm-hmm. No, it was a
Dude,
No, it was
that
a
is so
Samsung.
clear looking, man, right now.
in the mid-level one, it only had like an 8 megapixel camera on it, where this one has 16 on the back and 12 on the
Wow.
front.
Wow. I don't even, dude, mine's not even that strong. I don't even know what kind of megapixels I got. My pictures always suck, you know?
Yep.
What about you, Gordon? You said you got the Samsung, but you're going for the Apple now, huh?
No, he
Oh,
won't go
oh
Apple.
no.
You're gonna stay.
Apple
You're gonna stay with the Android operating system.
Yeah, Apple kind of pisses me off because they've become the whole thing are fighting Microsoft over in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is I drag and drop a lot of music in and out of my phones. I don't want to pay that much money for a phone
Right.
that I am locked up because of iTunes.
Yeah.
And that's the one that, yes, you can do it with iPhones, but iPhones are easier to manage using iTunes, whereas Android, you can plug it in your computer, and it acts just like a flash drive.
Yeah.
It's just easier
Well,
to...
what's up with Samsung's new foldable phone, man? Have you guys seen that sort of? I mean, what's
I've
up with
seen
that?
it. It's just a...
Or do they even have it out? Like
It's
at
a
the,
bell
at
and a
the
whistle.
store? Is it just? It's just a gimmick.
It's a gimmick. Yes, they exist.
Like a
but
Nextel.
It's a gimmick that probably won't catch on. Just like the curved screens that's supposed to fit to your face.
I've seen that one.
You only see
Yeah.
a handful. I've never seen anybody carry... Here's a good question while we're on the topic.
It just seems as though I don't know.
Gordon, is your volume for your ringtone up or down right now?
All the way down, just a quick vibration.
Now, is that because of what we're doing, or is that just its modern daily state?
It's modern daily state because of my, fancy Fitbit. I can get notified that way.
Well, I don't know if you all have noticed, but you don't hear ringtones out in public as much as you used to.
No, you don't. That is true.
One, because of the watches, and even with
Yeah.
the Fitbit. All my text messages come to my Fitbit, and also my phone calls, so I don't have to have ringtones up. But I notice you don't hear the bombardment, because
Yeah.
10 years ago, 5 years ago, you could be out in public, and it was just nonstop ringtones.
Yeah. That is true.
And so, and I think even people who don't have the watches, they just set them on vibrate and they just keep them in their pocket.
Well, plus if they got earbuds in, doesn't it just redirect it straight to the earbud?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys. Obviously, with the line of work I do, I get an inordinate amount of goddamn phone calls,
Yeah.
and people don't call me because they want to talk. They call me because they're having computer problems. And so back in the day when we first started, I learned the hard way. Because remember how back in like 2003, 2004, we all thought it was cool to take our favorite song and set it as the ringtone?
Yep.
But then if you're like me and your phone's constantly blown up, you begin to hate that goddamn song.
Yeah.
So even with the generic factory ringtones, it becomes very Pavlovian for me. And it gets to the point that when I do hear a ringtone, I just associate it with, oh, here comes some more drama. Yeah, Timmy and the boys are outside
Timmy and the boys
rocking
sound like
down the street.
4-wheelers are ripping. Go ahead. Sorry.
And so, yeah, no, it just hit me the other day that you don't hear ringtones. Because I was somewhere and somebody's phone rang. I was like,
Yeah, what the
hell's
hell is that?
that?
Yeah.
oh, it's a ringtone. The only time I hear anything is when I reboot my phone and the do-do-do-do-do comes
Yeah.
on.
I don't hear as much either. I agree with you. I don't hear it at all. I really don't hear ringtones anymore, man. I don't, Or maybe I've just become so, immune to it. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that could be too. We just desensitized.
Yeah,
right?
I've desensitized myself to it in a way, maybe.
Well, Gordon just said something very interesting. He was talking about how Apple has kind of turned into what Microsoft was sued for back in the day.
by Apple.
By Apple. But I was having a conversation with a very frustrated client today, and I've actually done one of my car videos on this. When I first started getting into computers, starting around 1999, malware and pop-ups were
Yeah.
insane. Especially on an old Windows 98 machine, you would get so many pop-ups the computer would barely even run. And so Gator Inc. got sued. They're the ones that started that. Everybody started downloading Malwarebytes, Spybot Search and Destroy.
All that antivirus.
All the antivirus programs have spy. And then Google said, hey, the pop-up blockers, and then Google Chrome came out. And so within the last 4 or 5 years, we've kind of been rid of pop-ups.
That is true.
Until recently. Because Google wants to take us back to goddamn 1999, and
What's
so does
happening?
Windows 10, with what they like to call notifications. So if you have Windows 10 and you're minding your own goddamn business, and down by your clock, a little bubble pops up and says, hey, this is going on. Or you start getting ads popping up in the right-hand corner. They're not pop-ups, they're notifications.
So what is that doing? Is that throwing a virus into the? Or is
No,
it trying to?
they're not malicious. It's Google who must be struggling because they must be doing horribly financially. Their
okay.
CEOs must be, 2 weeks away from getting a WIC card and standing in line for unemployment. They must not be making enough money. So what they do is first you have to go into settings, go into, I think, advanced,
Right.
privacy and security, content, and the notifications. They bury the shit.
What a pain in the
And
ass.
their advertisements, they get paid to pop this crap up on the latest
Yeah.
specials, and you have to go that deep to turn it off. And then you got to go to the control panel on Windows 10 because Microsoft's struggling too.
Bruh.
Poor Bill Gates and company, they're almost they're
How
almost
is
in the
this
bread
happening,
line,
man?
And so yes, now that pop-ups have basically been wiped out through good quality programs. Now we have notifications because they're losing money and they need to wait to inundate us with more advertisements on our computers via the fine settings known as notifications.
Yeah, I shut everything off, man.
Well, I do too, but
I on my phone anyways. Well, I got a cheap phone anyways, man. I get, my phone isn't the best. I got a couple of phones anyways.
And so we alluded to it at the top of the show, and I'm going to go ahead and get to it. This is going to be a short episode
Yeah.
tonight because I'm
I'm burnt,
freaking
man.
exhausted. And I talked about it, I think, on the last episode. Through the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast, I was on Instagram because be honest with you all, I do a lot more Instagram stuff than I do Facebook anymore because Facebook and Twitter are both political shit shows, and I
Yes,
just
they
I'm
are,
tired of
man.
reading it. Whereas Instagram's more like what Facebook used to be
Yeah.
without all the...
People are pretty cool, man.
And so I follow I follow a page on Instagram. It's the National Museum of the Pacific War because I'm a World War II nerd.
Yes, you are.
And
Love that stuff.
they posted a post about a production coming to be shot. A short film was going to be recorded out at there because behind the National Museum of the Pacific War they have almost a soundstage almost, but not for filming, but for reenactments and education. They actually have bleachers around it. They have a bunker and they got tanks and they got reenactors coming out with real life flamethrowers and shooting flames. And they
Get out of here.
They have an educational, and then they come out and they do their little reenactments and all that, and they educate people.
Is this is local?
No, it's in Texas,
Okay.
outside of Houston. And, yeah. It's part of the
Okay.
Texas Historical Commission. But anyhow, I was following. No, I'm sorry, Frederick. It's in Fredericksburg, Texas.
Okay.
I need to get that right. It's Fredericksburg.
Okay.
And over the years, I've seen a lot of photos of some of these events done out back. But anyhow, they're posting how there's a small production company called a small short film being shot called Walking Point. And so I do what I always do when I'm looking for content. Is, with this show, there's 3 of us, and we still don't have any content. But
you're a researcher,
But
buddy.
with the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast, it's just me, and so I focus a lot more of my time trying to get content for that show, because I can't get away with sitting in a room and bullshitting behind a microphone for an hour like we do in here. And so I sent the people at Walking Point a message. I said, hey, my name's Don Abernathy, host of World War II based podcast.
Yeah.
All my boilerplate nut thing. Would you be interested in doing a phone interview to promote your project? I think it's cool because basically Walking Point,
Good idea.
it's about the
Logical.
Marine Corps devil dogs, if you will, the actual guys, the dog handlers. And what I didn't know until looking into this project, like 80% of the dogs, at least the original ones, were donated by people. So it's 1944.
We had talked about
We're fighting the Japanese. We're looking for new technology. Uncle Sam comes out and says, hey, we are looking for dogs. Enlist your dog today. You got a nice, well-behaved dog. You take him down to the Marine Corps Recruiting Center, and they sign him up. They ship him out. And if you're lucky, after the war, you get him back.
Right. A lot of these guys took him home, though, did they not?
And so this story is about a young private who goes off to war. He gets a Doberman. He falls in love with one of the Marine Corps female dog trainers. And his goal is to not only survive the war, rekindle his the love with his new girlfriend, but he wants to make sure the dog survives so he can return it to its original family. And so they got back with me and they said, where can we find some more information about your podcast? And I sent them the link, and they came back and they said, you located in Florida, ?
Right.
And I said, yeah. And they're like, well, we're actually, now I can say this because it's over with.
I was about to say, yeah.
We're shooting, doing 2 days of our final scenes out in Bokeelia.
Nice.
I said, well, that's in my backyard.
Damn right.
So how about instead of you guys doing a phone interview, we do it live in studio?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, in order to do it live, do we got to come to you or can you come to us? And I said, no, I can pack up and go mobile and come to you. And so the original idea and concept was I was going to go out after they're shooting, bring my laptop, go to the
some interviewing
the Airbnb that they
yeah.
had rented out and interview and be done with it.
Yeah.
No, I sent them photos. I said, too bad you guys weren't shooting back in November. You guys could have filmed an entire amphibious landing that we did in Alabama.
Yeah, right. That would have been
But they were still
man.
crowdsourcing at that point.
Yeah.
And so I've been conversating with them. And, of course, everybody wants me to fuck a movie. So I send them a picture of me and I'm like, by the way, I have P-41s, P-42s, so if you need local extras that take up any frame space, I'm back here.
got so much stuff, bro.
But with the way the story is the shooting they did here, it's basically 2 of the Marines got separated, and so they didn't need any extras. So I wasn't an extra in the film. But, over the last 3 weeks, we had been talking via Instagram.
Right.
And it went from me interviewing them at their Airbnb to, long story short, I got invited out. I went to their Saturday dinner after
You went to
shooting.
the location, right?
Well, Saturday I got invited out to dinner over at Burt's. And so I went out and actually got to meet the guys and talk to them. And so then Sunday, I was invited out to the set.
Very good.
And so I went out to the set at like 9 in the morning. And what it is, out in Bokeelia, there is a bunch of coconut palm tree farms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hell yeah.
One of them is defunct and it's up for sale, which works out perfectly because it hasn't been maintained. And so you have undergrowth, you got weeds, you got collapsed trees,
ferns,
and it's it's a few acres, and so it looks like the middle of Japan.
Hell yeah, it looks like a jungle, man.
A jungle.
Like freaking South Pacific somewhere.
And so Jeff came out from the National Museum Pacific War as their World War II consultant, but there was a few things going on that there's a few things that I had noticed during shooting that I kind of put my 2 cents towards, and I was actually helping the actors get their leggings on because, leggings are a pain in the ass to tie on and need to be done quickly. Interesting, in the morning, they needed some spray paint. I knew the lay of the land, so I went out and got the things they needed and all that.
Yeah.
Out there, took, 9 hours to shoot those 2 scenes because, once again, you're working with a dog. And now the dog is great. The dog's fantastic. His name's Duke. He's a narcotics search dog.
Oh, dude, no, man, I couldn't have
He's not an acting dog.
Yeah.
He's a narcotic search dog, but this dog followed every command he did. He reshot scenes over and over. He would lay down for a long time when he had to. His the police officer dog handler. Eddie was there. This guy, Ed, looks like Negan from The Walking Dead. I mean, he looks like a dead ringer for Negan.
Really?
And so, anyhow, I'm out there. We shoot. I help the casting crew. I help the crew tear down, pack up. We all go back to the house. They have the wrap party.
Nice.
We have a great dinner from provided by Matelli's right there in right there in Matlacha.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic food.
Hell yeah.
And then we sat down and we recorded, like I said before, a 154-minute podcast.
Yeah, you got a long podcast there, pal.
Now, the interesting thing is two of the actors, one of them's name is Josiah, but there's another young fella that some of the parents out there may recognize. He's 23 now, but he's been acting since he was 12 years old. His name's Lou Wegner.
Name ringing bells, man.
Lou is from Gordon. Lou's from Powell, Ohio.
Okay.
And for all the Columbus people hanging out and watching this, yeah, Powell is northeast side of Columbus. It's basically about 45 minutes where Gordon and I grew up, and so he and I had that same commonality. And it's funny, when I was interviewing him, he was talking about how he always loved movies, and he used to go to the Dollar movie theater with his mom. And I was like, "Is that the one in Dublin?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, me and my brother used to skate out there."
Nice.
But he was talking about how he was into fencing when he was 12.
Trip.
I was like, "Because how the hell did you get into acting coming from Powell, Ohio, of all places?" And he was a fencer. And this is like one of those old stories you used to hear a lot. He was at a fencing tournament. He was out in the hallway. And there was a casting director, who just happened to be there because one of his relatives were fencing, saw him in the hallway, said, "Hey, we're shooting a pilot in California. We've been looking for a young kid who can fence and has a certain look for him. Would you be interested in doing it?" And so he talked to his mom. They said, yeah, and they went out. And this little TV series pilot that he shot for was some unknown show called Modern Family.
Yeah.
It's been in production and on the air since 2009.
Just a little show.
And then, so I'm looking at his IMDb now, and it's funny because his picture here, he has long hair, but nowadays he has the Marine Corps haircut for the movie.
Yeah.
So he did Modern Family in 2009.
So he was on it for a full season?
No, he did one episode in 2009 as the fencer.
Okay, all right.
Then he was in a
cameo.
Then he did a TV series called Warrior Showdown for one season. Then he was in a short movie called Love Serene. Then he was in another short movie in 2010 called Game Night. Then he was in another short movie called Be Good to Eddie Lee, which I've heard of.
All right.
Then he was in another short movie in 2011 called In the Darkness and Light. Then he was on the TV series in 2011 called Young Icons. He was in one episode on that. Then he was actually in a feature film called The Pledge in 2011.
Yep.
Then he was in another movie short called Littering is Bad. Did another movie short called Duel of Destiny. Another feature film, uncredited role in a movie we've all heard of called Trouble with the Curve. Then he was had a main role in The Christmas Tree Miracle, another movie Protocol, Past the Lights, Cats Dancing on Jupiter, Teenage Cocktail, The Other Mother, and then Walking Point.
Sounds like he's a pretty working actor, man. I mean,
well, and that's what he was saying. He said by the age of 13, he was making as much as his father did annually.
Yeah, he's a working actor, man. It sounds like.
Yeah, he said he loves it. He's out in California, but he's actually been thinking about whether he wants to move to Atlanta or somewhere else. Because he's pretty much at the point now where he can move. And then the two Japanese actors, one of them's only been in the country for 6 months.
Oh, jeez.
Never done any real acting. He did a great. I mean, you saw some of the dailies on my phone.
Yeah, I've seen the dailies. Yeah.
But the cool thing is this is a small independent film project, and the screenplay and the whole concept was written by a guy named R.J. Nevins Jr. And he originally did the screenplay, and then he adapted it into the book, which did great. And then he basically crowdfunded it, and this has been going on for like 7 years. And he first reached out to Lou like back when he was 14. And he's like, I was concerned it wouldn't be a role for me because you have to be 18. I said, well, not necessarily, because then that's when the World War II nerd came out to me. And I said this during a podcast. I said, a lot of those cats, and one famous Marine named Sid Phillips turned 16 on Guadalcanal.
They were very young.
Patriotism was so high back then that a lot of kids had their parents lie to the Marine Corps to say they were 18 when they were only 15, 16, 17 years old. And so it wouldn't have been unrealistic for him at 15 to have gotten a role in this movie. But,
Hey, still, I'm going to tell you what, man. From what I saw from those dailies, man, this is going to be one pretty pro-looking
I have
This
a
is very
interest
pro-looking
about
gig,
Lou
man.
Egner.
Go ahead.
Kind of looking him up. So he is an animal lover. In
Yes.
2010, he founded a nonprofit foundation called the Kids Against Animal Cruelty, which now has 50,000 members and partner coalitions.
Wow.
All that before the age of 23. I mean, and here's the greatest thing, and I was talking to Dave
That's
about.
cool, man.
This is a very small project. They did
Yeah.
a 4-day shoot over at the National Museum of Pacific War over in Texas, and then they did 2 days down here. Well, a majority of their cast and crew was out in Texas, and so when they got down here, it was very small. I mean, you had the director, the director of photography, the sound guy, the lighting guy, the key grip guy, and like one other cat. And then you had the 2 Japanese actors. You had Lou and Josiah, and then you had RJ's wife. Lou's girlfriend was there, and then the makeup lady.
What's the dog's name?
The dog's name is Duke. He's
Right on.
fantastic, and you can hear a lot more in depth on next week's episode of the What's the Scuttlebutt. Duke is amazing.
Yeah.
He's so serene and so loving, but he has a light switch.
Oh,
When
I
that
can tell.
command is given,
I can tell,
he jumps
man.
into action. And I have this video that I posted where
I saw that.
Ed has him barking at the 2 Japanese soldiers. And what you didn't see is before that, what got him barking
You
is
were like, he's going over lines or something. I forgot.
well,
what
no,
your
there's
post
2
was.
videos. You didn't see
Okay.
the second one. The one is a close up because I was right in front of Ed, and Ed's barking at the Japanese actors because
Yeah.
they're playing with bayonet, and
Yeah.
he saw the weapon. He didn't like that, and so he's barking right next to my camera, so you get a nice close up of it. But he's barking 1 minute, and then Ed will call him back, and then he'll have the Japanese actor come over and let him smell his hand, and then all of a sudden he's super sweet again.
Trip out.
And
man.
so because he's such a professional dog and
Yeah.
what he does, and the cool thing is Duke was not a police dog by training. He was
Okay.
Ed's personal dog. And by the way, happy birthday, Duke. He turns 4 years old today.
All right. Happy birthday, Duke.
Ed got this dog and he realized how smart he was, and so he
Yeah.
basically went to the
Professional trainer or
brass
something?
and said, "Hey, I want to make Duke a working dog."
Mhm.
And they said, "Well, here's the problem. He's a Doberman Pinscher."
No joke.
And they, much like pit bulls, they have a bad reputation.
Brr.
So if you truly want to pursue this,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to get into the PR game. We're going to have to get him out there in the public eye to show that he's not some psycho killer
Right.
waiting
Make him
to
look a little bit more friendly as far as public friendliness.
And so, just so happened, it's getting ready to come out this coming month. If anybody's familiar with the magazine, you know, if you're married to a canine officer, you're probably familiar with it. Or if you do service dogs, there's a magazine called Working Dogs.
Yeah.
And just hit the presses yesterday. I saw the advance copy. They're doing a whole magazine cover and whole spread on Duke. And in the story, Ed's talking about when he's doing the PR work and trying to spread the word that, you know, Dobermans, much like people do with pit bulls all the time, trying
Yeah.
to get rid of the
The
The stigma.
Of them, yeah, man, of them being vicious.
he took him to a children's hospital.
That's cool.
And he's walking around, and, you know, and Ed said that Duke really brought him out of his shell, because prior to this, he was, you know, kind of standoffish. He really wasn't into public speaking. He was kind of, you know, an introvert.
I get it.
And they're walking around Children's Hospital, and they're walking in this room, and there's this young girl in the bed, and she's like, "Does he bite?" And Ed's like, "No, can I pet him?" He's like, "Sure." And he didn't give Duke any commands whatsoever.
Yeah.
The little girl started petting him, and he came over and sat his head in her lap for like 15 minutes, and just went to sleep on her lap while she was laying in bed
See,
petting
that's
him.
cool, man.
And so, and it was amazing to see Duke work. I mean, that dog reshot scenes over and over and
Really?
over. But back to the crew.
Very cool.
This is
man.
a small project, and you can tell that these cats, yes, the young actors, they want to act, but they like acting for the sake of acting. Now, Josiah's last scene was Saturday, and I didn't get to see his last scene, so he wrapped on Saturday.
Okay.
Now, it was like 85, smoldering hot out there
Yeah, it was
Sunday. The
warm.
mosquitoes were intense. He didn't have to be there. He could have been chilling at the hot tub back at the house. Josiah was out there in the jungle with us, the rest of us, working basically as a crewman, getting things. You know, we needed this carried over here. He and I went and carried it. We needed him to hold down something. Somebody had to hold down something so that Duke could do one of his stunts. He needed a ramp. Josiah was on his hands and knees in shorts in an old rundown Coconut Grove. You know, he was there. He didn't have to, but because everybody on that crew, they have such a passion for filmmaking that everybody was out there until the very end. And the cool thing was, I only knew these cats for like 13 hours.
I was about to say, what, 12 hours or something like that?
And
Everybody
this
felt
comes
like
across when you hear the podcast that
family
I did.
man, huh?
Yes, exactly. We all got along so well. I mean, I have all their phone numbers now. We've been chatting since last night, sending photos back and forth.
See, that's cool.
And
bro.
it's just such a great experience. One, because I've been a part of a TV shoot before, and so this is completely different.
Well, you also have so much knowledge about it all, and from what I understand, you really helped out with some technical stuff.
There was some
in a way.
technical World War II
But
related items.
We won't get into it, but I mean, I just think that was cool that you were there, man.
I spotted some errors that were easily corrected. That Jeff was handling so many things
Yeah,
that
man. People get busy, man, and,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
it's
always
always-
have extra eyes. That always helps, man. You know that.
and so I was able to help out on that. And basically, I got the call I got the text this morning that my name will be presented in the credits for
Get out.
for my contribution to
Really?
the film. And
That's cool, man.
and by the way, they have been on Instagram. They have been promoting the shit out of What's the Scuttlebutt.
Have they? Oh, I gotta check.
I mean,
All right,
every post they did about shooting down here, I was tagged in. So
well,
we've been
awesome, man.
promoting each
Very
other.
good. Very good.
I'm-
Very good.
They're hoping to do the release in August, so they've already started editing. They got to do the color correction and the audio and all that stuff. But it was so, and even the director of photography, he was a young cat. He was probably, I would say, late 20s, early 30s. A lot of the cast, the crew, the lighting guy, the key grip, all those cats were very young, up and coming guys, and most of them were from Texas and some of them from California. But from the top down, the makeup artist. She does makeup artist, but she was out there in the field for one of the scenes where someone gets shot. I'm not giving anything away. It's a fucking war movie.
Yeah, don't
after
give it
all.
away, man.
Well, I'm not giving anything away. It's a war movie. Somebody gets
All
shot
right.
in a war movie.
Of course.
And she's on her hands and knees crawling through the jungle to stay out of frame so that she can fire off the squib pack when
Yeah.
it was time. And it was just so cool to see these guys do their thing and down here and just it's fucking awesome.
That is cool.
They gave me a book. I'm going to read the book. It's I'm super stoked for when this thing comes out. Not to steal one of your crutch phrases, but I can use it because it's
That's
not a
all
crutch
good.
phrase.
You know what, dude? That's cool as hell. I'm stoked.
So yeah, that's called Walking Point. Go to my What's the Scuttlebutt. Links are all over the place. If you follow me on Instagram, the links are all over the place there. Real quick, back to our
I
cell
forgot-
phone.
I
Go ahead.
I got to touch on something real quick as well, man, because I forgot, and I'm glad because of your work this past weekend. I forgot to let everybody know that I had guest spotted on a previous
Yes,
podcast.
absolutely. I was saying about that earlier. We'll get that in a minute. I just want to get back to the cell phone
Yeah,
thing
man.
because this happens quite a bit, and I don't know if it's technology or what. But Gordon, do you ever notice people don't hang up anymore?
Yeah, I was actually going to give you shit about that.
Well,
What do you mean?
You can give me shit about that because I'm the opposite. When I say, "Hey, I've got to go," bye. Once I
Yeah.
say the word "bye,"
Yeah.
my phone is leaving my ear and my
Hell yeah,
fingers.
man.
And there's many times where I hear someone trying to continue the conversation. Guess what? I said bye. The period has been laid. I hang up.
I
Don't
was
you
like, what,
hear?
are you too good to hang up the phone, bud?
But I notice a lot of times, like, especially when I'm driving my car,
Now,
you say bye, and the other person says bye, and neither one of you hang up. It's
I-
almost like when we were back as kids in high school, and you're talking to the girl you're dating, and
Yeah, it's like you
I don't,
wait.
you hang up. No, you hang up first, but you
You
don't have
wait
that
a
part. It's
second.
just it's like, would you fucking hang up the phone?
yeah, just click.
And I don't know if it's
Aw.
because we're all on Bluetooth, we're all in our cars, we all expect the other person to hang up first. But usually when I say bye, I hang up. There's
I'm
been,
gone, man.
There's been many a times I'll look down like 3 minutes later and the phone connection's still going on.
Yeah, it's still ticking away. It's like 23 seconds later. You're like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does happen, man. It does happen. I think you're right though. I think the Bluetooth has a little bit to do with it in the connection with your vehicle now, and hanging up, however you're hanging up.
So last Tuesday
takes a
you
little time.
recorded a podcast and
Yeah.
it went live Wednesday, and there's another local Cape Coral podcast
Yeah,
called
man.
Unsupervised.
Yeah, man. Guest
And-
on the Unsupervised podcast.
And I
last
listened
Tuesday.
to it, and you did a very, very good job.
Appreciate it, man.
That's a very interesting format they have, and I know
Yeah.
Gordon listened to it as well.
What you think, Gordon?
Thought it was good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they got a really cool thing going over there, man. Bill, Chrissy, and Mick, the three main ones that I know of that are running unsupervised. I think there's another, like a technician that runs with
Yeah,
them.
they kept referring to a junior, but I didn't think that's the same
Is
junior
that,
we know.
No, it's not the same junior. Is that what it was, junior? Okay,
They
so
kept calling him junior, but I don't think it's the same junior
then,
that we know.
Yeah, no. But yeah, they got a really cool gig going on. I think they said they were close to 100 episodes in. So they're really working hard at it, man, which I'm pretty stoked about. But they had me on as like I guess it would be a guest, right?
Yeah, they actually just liked our Waterman and D Train post for tonight. So I mean, they're still, and I know
Very
at least
cool.
for the episode prior to when you came on,
Yeah.
as part of their show prep, they watched, at least one of the hosts watched our videos and
Yeah.
was referring back to
Just
they're very interested in your I blew myself up story.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. It was pretty cool though. No, it was really cool. I got to say that it's fun to know.
Now, do they have a public studio, or are they shooting out of their house like we are?
They're shooting out of the house. But what they have done is they've done a great gig, man. They have taken the garage and almost halved it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's a studio in itself. I think they were in a band at one point.
Sure.
And so I think that was like their jam room and everything that they've had for quite some time, and they've decided to start podcasting out of there. Now they're all kind of relatively well. I think Bill and Mick have known each other for 20-something years, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And Chrissy.
And I know they're all about our age because one of them said he had kids.
Yeah, one of Bill.
The one who does lawn care. I think he said he does lawn care.
Oh, that's Mick. So he's in his later 40s. So I can't remember, man. I think he does lawn care. So then he's probably got kids. I'm sure he's got kids, and Bill does as well. Chrissy, I'm not so sure about. I'm not sure, what her whole relationship status is, the whole thing with her. But anyways, man, they got this cool thing going on, man. I'm pretty stoked with it. I think that's it.
Well, you found your long lost metal love partner.
Well, bro, because we could, me and that dude, we could sit and just talk metal all night long, man.
The two of you should get together and do like an 80s hair band metal. And I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there saying, why are you guys promoting someone else's show? Look, steal something from Joe Coy. I listen to Joe Coy's podcast.
Man.
And Gordon does too. And his podcast is very positive and uplifting, but he says something all the time that drives him nuts when it comes to comedians, how everybody thinks there's only so much pie out there, but there's plenty of pie for everybody. And so look, here's another podcast locally. They're doing their thing. I don't see them as competition. I see them as colleagues. I see them as, a group of people trying to do the same thing we're doing.
I love success, man. You know that, man. We like to see people succeed, dude. That's the whole thing, man.
And
and you can feed off each other too.
Absolutely.
Well, exactly. And it's good to have competition. Kind of like we say, when you have the government, there's no competition, and so you get a shitty result. And so, once again, I see them as colleagues. Hey, I think it's great that they had you on their show, and once we move out and we get our public space here in a few months, we'll return
have those
the favor.
guys come on, man. Yeah.
But by no means am I saying, oh no, we can't. No. Check them out. It's the Unsupervised Podcast.
Man.
They're located basically everywhere that we are as far as all the distribution networks, man. And look, I'm all for it.
I was pretty stoked, like
do
I
your
say.
thing, because their show is dramatically different than ours, which is a good thing. It's
that's the cool thing. There's all different flavors of,
and there's plenty of pie out there for everybody.
Yeah.
You're gonna have crossover listeners. You're gonna have some people who like our shit and don't like theirs. You're gonna have people who love theirs and hate ours.
Yep.
And hey, I'm all for it. So check them out. It's the Unsupervised Podcast, and
absolutely, man.
they do good work. Their sound quality's great. They definitely have more of a template and content than we do. They definitely have a hell of a lot more jingles and all that, and they have a well put together show. And
yes,
so
they do,
check
man.
them out.
I was pretty impressed with their professionalism, man. Pretty stoked about it. Absolutely. What do you got, Gordon, man? Anything in the news, man?
I'm a little behind in the news today. I mean, we got a story about the guy out of Cincinnati who, for Lent, quit eating food and just drank beer.
I heard about that.
Yeah, he lost about 14 pounds.
Yeah, man, he lost some weight, didn't he?
What about the beer? Drinking beer? What was he drinking? Because I thought there was a lot of carbs in, the old beer belly gimmick.
Well, here's the thing. Anytime you change your diet drastically, you're going to lose weight.
Sure.
Period. Yeah. You can ditch the fats and you can ditch the proteins and that and just eat salads. You're going to lose weight. You can eat potato chips only and lose weight. Penn Jillette lost a lot of weight eating just potatoes.
Yep, the potato diet.
That's crazy, man.
So any drastic change, that's when your body's going to adjust.
Yeah.
Now the question is do you do a drastic change? Now your body's starting to plateau out and you make another drastic change? It's not sustainable and definitely not healthy.
Well, especially when it comes to diets. But to answer your question, that's where the basis of P90X started from. Is that you got to keep your body guessing, you got to change things up and keep it going.
Isn't that P90X like speed though, man? Like
no, that's how no. P90X is a workout regimen.
Oh, okay.
It's basically have 7 different regiments, and then each one's like an hour and a half long. And within that regiment, there's different. That's basically when I first started at my old house, and we talked about this in the past.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
When I first started, when I wasn't getting the results I needed from the gym, at the time I had the projector from Mac Computers.
Right.
And I had gotten P90X, and I had it on a computer in my garage, and I hooked it up to the
Yeah, that's
projector.
right,
and so I had a 6-foot tall digital virtual gym session in
I
my
remember you
gym.
telling
And
me
so
about
instead of watching on a small TV, I'd throw it up on the wall. And so it was, you almost felt like you're in a class, because once again, instead of having it on a small TV, it's 6 foot tall on your wall. And that's
you're working
and
out.
you
man.
get the extra benefit of working out in the hot ass Florida garage.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you just got to, and that's kind of what I do now. You know, I went from doing nothing but lifting weights and minor cardio to now running
you're
6
dude,
miles.
You're biking, running.
And I just got a new bike that's the size of a crotch rocket,
Bro,
because
that
I
bike
have
you got's
Shaquille O'Neal's
ridiculous.
bike in my
you
garage.
You do, man. That bike is gigantic, bro. It's so absurd looking compared to the other bicycles in your garage.
It looks like someone like getting ready to build a motorcycle, and they built a rolling frame.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Are you as tall as is your brother? I
No,
can't
he's
remember.
6'2".
I'm 6'2"-ish.
Okay, and you're 6'4"?
And Gordon used to be a bigger mountain biker than not. You know, we
This
used to do
bike's
single track.
ridiculous, man. I walked in earlier tonight, and I'm looking, and it's like normal regular bicycles are pretty big anyways, especially when you get into the mountain bike style. This thing is like, seriously, it's like a Shaquille O'Neal's custom made.
It looks like a rolling chopper frame.
Can we get a quick vid of Dave riding that bike?
Yeah, I'll have to get one. It's too dark out now.
Just the juxtaposition would be hilarious.
It's insane,
And if we get a
man.
small bike and then just right next to each other, that'd be funny.
It's gigantic, bro. I looked at it because I was like,
The
whoa.
rims on it are 29 inches.
I figure.
Well, because
Sorry, man.
because the bike that I was riding, which is the
29.
one was given to me, it was a 20-inch. They do them by the rims, but the frame is bigger too.
Oh, dude, bro, this thing's all squared
But
off.
this
and
one's a
everything.
29, the other one was a 25, and I noticed when I'd go on like ride 2 or 3 miles, my lower back would start hurting.
Yeah.
And Gordon can tell you, when you ride a bike, you adjust your seat post where you want it, but when your pedals are on the downstroke, your leg needs to damn near be straight, not completely locked, but have a little bit of
I
a.
get it.
But
I know.
But on this one, I had the seat post as high as it can go. My legs weren't completely even close to being straight. I'm leaning over and down forward because the headstock doesn't. And
Tweaking
so,
your back out, everything, man.
exactly, and so I would go ride 2 or 3 miles, and then I'd feel like I had sciatic nerve pain for 4 or 5 days. And so I was walking around the store, and I saw, just happened to be walking through the bike department,
I can't believe they had a bike that
and
big
it said
there.
25, which is the bike I had, a 26, 5'4" to 5'10". Now I'm 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, clearly they have sizes on here for a reason. And so I'm like, well, well, that was a 25. The 27's for 5'10" to 6'2". So where's the one
You
for?
got size Sasquatch? I need a size
Yeah,
Sasquatch.
exactly.
And so the 29
Exactly.
say on it 6'5" to Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
And so I've been looking at it for a while. Tax season's here, and it is a
Nice.
Schwinn bike. Now, full disclosure, I
Those aren't
can't.
bad, man.
I
It's a good
can't.
bike.
It's a Schwinn, but it's a low-end Schwinn because I got it from a big box store. Because once again, I'm riding
Still.
bike paths.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
riding sidewalks and street. I'm not out single track riding. I'm not out doing Ironman.
You're not in Northern California hitting the damn, mountain.
We do have some single track around
Those
here,
kind of
but I haven't gotten that point. And financially, I can't afford a $12,000 to $2,000 bike.
God, no, man.
And so this bike was right in my price point. It is
You
a
start
Schwinn.
getting-
It's a Schwinn with lower end components, but it's still better than the Mongoose I was riding.
It's going to help you with
And
your
more
workout regimen.
importantly,
know
I
that.
can go out and ride 5 miles one day, go out and run 6 miles the next day, and be able to do it because my back won't be all wrenched out from riding a bike that's meant for somebody maxing out at 5'6".
That's funny,
Well,
man.
plus when the garbage components go bad, you can actually go and just buy some nice components as you go.
No, because I still
yeah.
have your. Speaking of $2,000 bikes, I still have your KHS frame up in my attic.
Yeah. He
That's
told-
a nice size frame too.
Yeah. He
Yes,
said
but the
that.
problem is that thing has been stripped like a car left in freaking Compton on a Saturday night.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, that was my trip back to Kentucky from Montana. I had acquired a full suspension Rocky Mountain.
Thing has nothing but the
bike.
seat. And so back when I started doing the P90X, I went on eBay, bought a derailleur. Wasn't too expensive, bought a Shimano derailleur. Okay, now I just need The tires are gone. I had the rims, but 4 of the spokes were broken. They weren't straight. And so after I bought the derailleur, I took the rims and tires down to the local bike store. To get new rims, tires, and tubes, obviously I can get super cheap shit, but to get something that wouldn't look ridiculous on that high-end frame,
$400 or $500 maybe.
cost me more than this new bike.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so once I saw, and plus back then, that was 6 years ago, I had less money than I do now. I'm like, I'm going to put all this crap on here, and I'm going to have all these new components on an older bike frame, which is super light. But once again, the cost to rebuild that bike was twice the price of going out and buying that one.
Yeah. Oh, it's got a front suspension on it,
I
too.
tell you what, as much fun as single track is, when I first got on a downhill bike with 6 inches of travel front and back, my life was changed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have single track down here, but keep in mind, our soil is 92% sand. And so if you want to ride single track, you either got to find stuff that's super beaten down, so at that point it's really not single track, but it's a lot of sand and it's a lot of heat, and to be honest with you, I don't want to be panther bait. I don't feel like getting tackled by a Florida panther.
Man.
I saw a damn
They're here.
I saw a coyote
Coyote.
in my neighborhood the other day.
Did you?
I was coming down the street and he ran across the street and into that vacant lot.
I'm telling you, man. I got that. I'm on Bobcat watch at my house, bro. I'm waiting.
Every time you see a coyote, you're like, wow, that's got longer legs than I thought.
Clayton's asking, who the hell is the phantom voice coming from the nether region on our, not the nether region, yeah, Gordon, the nether world. He said, do you have another host who isn't on camera? Yes, Gordon is actually broadcasting with us via Skype from the Sin City. He's actually in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Gordon and I were having this discussion. We're going to wrap up the show, but before we do, just full disclosure, I always talk about the technology. I can put Skype on the computer that is doing our video stream, right? And that program, OBS, will allow me to choose an application and drop it into the video. So yes, I can launch Skype on that computer and put his face and his video into the screen. Kind of like we do with the Waterman D-Train logo.
One of the corners. There we go.
But here's where it gets tricky.
Right
that computer is simply an input device. There's no output. And so, in order to do that, I would either A, have to figure out if Skype will allow me to log into the same application on 2 different computers simultaneously, launch the same conversation simultaneously, which it probably does, but here's where it gets difficult. We've all been in that area where you're watching TV in the room, and then it's dinner time, now you're watching TV in the living room.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a half a second delay.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like you're watching a football game, game.
Yep.
And now Dave.
Yep.
And so the question is going to be, and I need to try it. I just, once going back to the previous discussion, the last thing I feel like doing when I get home from work is dicking with this
You're
stuff.
trying to sync audio, I guess.
No, what my concern is when I have his mug talking on that video,
over here,
and our mug talking here,
the
audio is going to be coming out of the computer right here, through the board, back feed through there.
Oh, okay.
1, are we going to get feedback? And 2, you and I, our lips are going to match up, but I have a feeling he's going to look like a bad, overdubbed, where he talks, his mouth is moving.
Kung Fu movie.
But his audio is not going to sync with his lips, and that gets very distracting to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so once we get past that hurdle, basically I just got to figure out a way to get his mug into that picture, but which is the easy part, but have his audio sync up with his lips so that it's all synced up. So, because it'll look weird because you and I, our lips will be synced up with our audio, but his more than likely will have a delay.
Yeah,
so that's the boundary and hurdle we're trying to get over top of.
Half-second delay or something, at least enough to where it just throws you
and
off.
there's going to be a bandwidth issue possibly. So
yes,
we'll get it all figured out, boys. We'll get it figured out.
Well, I'm tired.
I'm burnt, man.
I got home last night from the big movie thing. The time I got out, showered and ready for bed, it was 1:30, and I was up at work at 6 this morning. If I've said anything within the last hour, I hope you found something positive. Life is incredibly short. Life is hard. But try. When it's all said and done, you're on your deathbed. I don't want to be one of those what ifs. I want you to be I tried my best. Whether or not it succeeds, fuck it, who cares? It's all about, trying. So figure out a way to fulfill your responsibilities, unlike Dave, and to chase your passions and give it a shot. Find something, motivating and chase it, because one day you may wake up dead. Gordon?
Well, and in the same vein, whatever you do in life, at work, enjoy it. Try to be there for more than just a paycheck. Make it better, and keep on trucking.
Right on, Gordon. Hey, man, I just got to say, I'm jamming, dude. I'm feeling good now. I got to hang out with my homies tonight, man. My week's starting off good right now. I want to thank everybody for, dialing us in, man, on Facebook and everything else, man, YouTube. And, yeah, bro, you can check me out at Dave_the_Waterman on Instagram. Like D-Train said, that's our new social thing, man. And, hey, we'll check you out next week. Late.